Hey everybody, it's your host, Marcus Norman of the Gentleman Style Podcast Show, and we got the beautiful Miss Cara Wells joining me again live. Hey girl, how you doing?
I'm the
Oh, got taken out, but we have a fantastic episode. You there?
I'm not sure what happened. Please excuse that.
You're
Shoot,
good?
life happens.
It does.
Mhm.
It does. We got a guys, Miss
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
It just came back in.
Okay. Hi, everyone. This is your Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show, and we got Cara Wells, co-host of the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And we have coming to the stage today, Mr. Adir Yates. This man is hailing all the way and joining us from Miami, Florida. He's a Miami, Florida native. This man has had an incredible life, an incredible journey, and is living every young black man's dream. This man is a musician, he's an author, he's a steward of the game, and he's been doing this business for a really long time, and he is here to help us understand his background, his story, what brought him to the music industry. Music industry is something that is very difficult to break into. It's very difficult to maintain. It's a whole lifestyle. And if you're not part of the game, you really got to know what you're doing. Mr. Yates is here on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show to help us break some of the myths and talk about his story. So help me welcome to the stage the incredible Mr. Adir Yates.
What's going on? I appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Thank you for being here, brother.
That was a wonderful intro. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. We doing it. Well, when we have top tier talent like yourself, we got to do it right. So, Mr. Yates, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a guest on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. Sir, I want to start off with this question. You could do anything, right? But you chose the music industry. Why jumping into the music industry? Because you could do anything you want. You have an incredible mind, and you've proven your worth over the years. Why music?
Honestly, I would say I've been a part of writing and, performing since I was 8 years old. It's always been a part of my life. Music has always been a part of my life. I would say it was even more a part of my life after serving time in the military. It started becoming more of a reality. So I started diving more into it when I first, got in the military. And it helped me really start to lock in on certain obstacles I had. And I'm like, let me try different things because the military is teaching me I could be more than what I see in myself. Well, let me start really investing time into it. And I've invested really over 10 years, over 12 years, honestly, in the creation of music and building relationships with certain people, which all got us to the point of me creating my own record label and putting out my own actual projects and actually signing artists and having distribution deals and stuff like that.
That makes sense. Sense. That's huge. And what's that? Go ahead, Miss Cara.
No, I was also going to say thank you for serving. I have a heart for men and women who serve in the service because my father is a veteran. My older sister is a veteran. I tend to connect with them quite often, and I have a heart for you guys. And thank you for serving because a lot of us won't.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's hard. Oh, it was challenging. It was challenging. I won't tell my kids, dude. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an interesting point. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Mark.
No, that was an interesting. He said that he would never let his kids serve. Did I hear you right?
Oh, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I will say this, it helped me because of my hand that I was dealt with growing up in my environment around the people that I needed that self-control. I needed to have restraints in my life, and that's what saved my life, because if I didn't have that, I would not be talking to you right now. You know what I mean? That level of stability. But the reason why I wouldn't have my kids do that, because I'm involved in my kids' life. So I am that stability. I am that. My kids don't have to learn that lesson the way I learned it, because I already learned it. And as a parent, I'm supposed to give that to my kids. I don't need nobody else to teach my kids how to be a man when I taught them how to be a man. And that's why I said no. They my kids. I needed it. My kids won't need that.
I know that's right.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Absolutely.
Because
Go
I
ahead,
know
Miss
that's
Carmia. I
a
think you
when
had
they,
some sauce there.
well, the only thing with the service, because I know my dad was that type of person of, especially the time that I was growing up, he did not want me to go. He didn't want any of us to go. He just pretty much was on heat when he found out my older sister wanted to go, because at that time
Yeah.
they was going across the Iraq. So my older sister served in the Navy Reserves. Um, and at that time was the worst time, and my dad didn't want us to go that same route, because yes, he accomplished what he wanted to accomplish out of that, but there was a lot of things that, I'm pretty sure you found out a lot of things too while you was inside. It's like, oh, I definitely don't want my children to go through this.
Man, so much. It was so much. That's why I'm saying, like, if I could recreate the good in my kids not having to go that route, that's what I'm going to do as a father. Because
Mm-hmm.
I notice what happens when you don't have direction. It's easier for you to go down certain paths that people went down in the military. Like, I was on a ship with a kingpin, a drug kingpin in the Navy. Yeah, I done seen some. I done seen some
It
stuff.
could
Like,
definitely it
yeah,
could definitely happen. There
I
was a lot of
was.
people I went to college with that was given two decisions. Either you could go to college or you could go into the service. And they told them, go to college, go into service, or go to jail. Which one are you going? And so, some of them, of course, I was talking to them at the time at my school, at my college. They was like, I decided to go to school, but I wasn't about to go. I wasn't about to go into the service, and I wasn't about to go to jail either. So this seems like the easy choice.
Yeah. Oh no, it's. Trust me, you're. And listen, I do not want to bash people going in the military. I don't want to do that, because I do
Hmm.
understand the importance behind it. But for me, I went in because I didn't have any direction in life. And I didn't live with my parents and family members for 18 years to that point. Well, 19 when I went in. For 19 years, and guess what? I still didn't have any direction. So that's why I went in. And that's what gave me the direction. But from my perspective, my kids wouldn't have that be the reason why they're going into the military. Because I understand the
Yeah.
minor details that a child needs to know before they even get adult. Like, my son is 2 years old. My son is learning life lessons as a 2 year old. He's seeing life lessons. He's seeing from planting and gardening to, I'm a landowner. I own my land. So my kids is being able to even just benefit from black wealth or black excellence. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he not getting that image of a black man. All I have to be is, yeah, I could be a rapper, but I don't have to be a thug and a rapper. I don't have to be a gangster and a rapper. I don't have to be, I don't even have to promote certain things and still be, a musician. So that's kind of why I want to give my kids direction on certain things, and not necessarily. I'm glad I didn't learn it in the streets. I'm glad I didn't go down that road. I didn't have to go down that road. I know plenty of people that did. I could have easily did. I would have easily did had I not joined the military. But I learned my lesson, how I learned it. And I definitely think that for us as black men, it's a good thing seeing black men doing something with their life, because when we don't have nothing to work for, we're going to like do the worst. It don't matter if you put us in the military. Like I was in the military with a guy who's a serial rapist. He got 12 years because he was raping women in the military, in the Navy. He was going from ship to ship raping women. So you don't change because of your job title change. You don't change because of that. You change when you change as a person. And most people never care about themselves as a person, you know?
Big facts. Big facts. So you mentioned black wealth. Is that why you and your family purchased the land? It was because you wanted to what was let me ask you, what was the strategy behind purchasing some land? Right? Because there's the business, there's your music, but the music fed into everything else you're doing now. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
how did you roll that out?
I would say for me, it was a business decision for me to purchase land, because realistically, most people are, because I bought a home when I was 22 years old. I bought a home when I was 22 years old, and I got on a 30-year fixed rate, 30-year fixed rate mortgage, just like, well, not people are getting the flexible rate mortgages, whatever. They're yeah, so some people are suffering out here with these. Yeah, don't do that. But I got a good percent, when I bought the home, but at the same time, I'm still paying a 30-year mortgage. Realistically, how many black people lived into their 50s and 60s? Like, let's be honest. We don't live that. People are unhealthy. All these different things are affecting our community where we're not living as long as we should be living.
Yeah.
And so I'm starting to process all this different stuff. And then now my situation changed. I'm not able to afford certain things. Now I got to downsize my life. And then guess what now? I'm at the point of renting a home now all over again, paying somebody else's mortgage all over again. So I'm starting to think, well, why do I start adding? Well, me and my brother came together and said, bro, why don't we throw our resources together and develop something from the ground up? Land, putting the homes there, and own everything. Why don't we do that? And at first I was like, it's weird. I never lived on land. I never cultivated land before. I never had to worry about permits, and I never worry about clearing land. And I've never had to worry about none of this stuff because we lived a life of convenience and no information is passed in the black community. So me and my brother, we took this journey with no information, and fast forward today, we own everything. We got multiple mobile homes. We got, we're expanding it. It's growing in ways to where I would be lying to you if I told you that I envisioned myself not only being a landowner, but owning a village. And that's what I own. I own I am co-owners, me and the other group of black men at owning a village, and we work together, and we literally do everything together. And it's a crazy dynamic that only reason why I'm even talking to people is because I want people to see somebody actually doing what they're talking about. Like, I want people to see someone actually doing what they talk about, and it's all positive.
That's the power behind what you're doing. And for a long time, I hate, and I've always feared when a young man would come up to me and it's like, oh, I'm gonna be a rapper, right? But most rappers don't make it, right? That's what they don't tell you, right? You see you see the rapper coming up, how they had to grind, how they had to hustle. Most of them don't make it. And so what's the backup plan, right? What else do you want to do in case this doesn't take off as fast as you would think? I heard a rumor that rappers, when they get that contract, when they get signed, they don't have that opportunity to really, like, the money is advanced to you, but you don't really. That covers everything. You're covering costs, you're covering production, you're covering the team, the camera, the photography. All of that is out of your pocket. Is that true, or is that
everything is out of my pocket? And honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. Of course, I care about creating wealth in many different ways because I touch many different avenues. From I'm also working on a book. I'm also working on a book, like book series. I'm also working on an animated series. I'm also working on my brother's a professional fighter. Like it's so much stuff that people I'm working on at this point. Music for me is a way for me to show my kids that, hey, you do whatever God put in you to do. You got the time, you got the energy, you go for that goal, regardless of whether or not you make it to what somebody else says you're supposed to make it to. You can make it for you. And so for me doing everything, I'm the record label. I done did everything. We did everything in house, in team, everything, and I put out a phenomenal project with a clear message, with a great message that could rival any other message, anybody else. You play my music to anybody else's music and really listen to the message, you're gonna get a message from it. And regardless of who listened to it, one person listened to it. I mean, I got thousands, but regardless of whoever, I can tell you this: it felt better to me getting out a message than it did me signing to a record label, getting $1 million advance, 50,000, however, because everybody's not making money. Everybody's not getting money. That's the cold hard truth. These rappers are not making all the money. I can tell you this: me having my village, I'm more beneficial even if I didn't rap than if I did. This is not a hobby. This is a lifestyle of talking. We starting up a podcast as well, but this is a lifestyle of talking. This is a lifestyle of communicating. This is a lifestyle of growth that I want to show in every aspect of life, music and all. And that's what I want my kids to look at too. I don't want my kids to think about music as, okay, if I don't sell 1 million records or I don't have 100 million streams, then I didn't make it. No, you made it for you. You made it for you. You ain't gotta make it. That's how it's easy for somebody to get tricked out of life because you're trying to make it for somebody else to say you made it. No, I know what I went through. I made it. I made it. But that's me.
No, that's real. That's real. There's too many people that look at. I don't know. I feel differently. I feel kind of similar to what you're saying. It's like your parents. I don't know. Your parents shouldn't. I think it's abuse when parents make their children their retirement plan.
Absolutely.
I think that's abusive in many
I
different
totally
forms.
agree. I totally agree.
Absolutely.
I think that's a form of abuse, right? When you sit there and say, I don't need to put no money away for my kids. I don't need no life insurance. I don't need none of that. My kids they're doing well, they're successful, and they'll take care of me when I'm older. Well, that's what if life takes a
Wait,
direction?
see, when parents don't understand that you don't prepare that type of stuff for your children, they get older and they're like, well, so was you banking on the other half for me to take care of you? Because baby, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really iffy. But now let's see how good of a parent you was while we was growing up. Let's go ahead and rewind the tape back real quick. Let's see if you, because I know a lot of people, even my age and older, they look at their parents like, did you talk to Jesus first? Because I don't know if he got the message, whether I'm going to do it or he is, because he said he already did it. So I don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're not. Oh, trust me. Trust me. That's what, and honestly, that's why I'm even saying of my kids, that's why I'm showing my kids what you're supposed to do. I'm showing my kids, even with relationships, even with everything, hey, there's a right and wrong way to do everything.
It is.
There's a right, and that's what people aren't, realistic with stuff. Hey, look, I don't want my kids to ever think, hey, look, why would I be great? My dad never even tried. My dad was so scared to put himself out there that he was a great man and he never even tried. So now guess what I'm teaching my kids? I'm teaching my kids right now with what generational curses that I'm breaking. I'm teaching my kids you can do anything that God put in you to do, period. Whether or not somebody like it or not.
No, that's true. Even if I don't like it, I don't let me that was a movie Will Smith did. Was it not 7 pounds, but it was the movie where he was it was him and his son. He was young. He's saying, listen, don't let nobody discourage you, even me. If you want to do it, do it. But don't let nobody, including me, stop you from doing it. And so that's huge.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
That's huge because our parents,
And
you know,
speaking of,
go ahead, yeah.
go ahead. Oh no, go ahead. You still going? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was saying like parents sometimes parents today can't understand why their kid wants to be a content creator. That's not a real job to the parents of old.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a real thing. Making content, getting paid, that's a skill. But our parents sometimes can't grasp that. Well, why you ain't going to work today? Why you ain't putting on your coveralls and going out and getting dirty? Well, you don't have to get dirty in this day and age, mom and dad. But they don't. They can't.
Some of
think
them
that
can't
far.
even grasp that we could do applications online.
Nope.
Some of them can't even grasp. You sign out. You sign out an application on what? I ain't never seen you left this house. What you signing on? What you sign an application? You ain't let it house the whole time you've been staying with me. You talking about you got a job? How did that happen? I
Yeah.
promise you. I experienced this in college.
Wow.
I told my dad I applied online for a job. He said, how does that work? You supposed to go up there and talk to somebody. Now, I do want to advise. Let me throw a disclaimer out there. He is of the older generation. So he was born in the 1950s. So you already know what that mindset is. They look at things a lot different, especially in the South. A lot different. They look at certain things as how does this work? How does this work? That's not the way it's supposed to work. It's supposed to work this way. And that generation is very built on you need to do it this way. This is the only right way or no way at all. So that's the type of mindset my siblings were dealing with at the time. So it's hard to work that way out of that. So when Marcus was talking about they have a hard time understanding about certain jobs and stuff that have been created for people to get more income, that's in their minds is blown. They just don't understand how a check could be cut from somebody filming and posting.
And you
Or
know what?
someone, doing what we do with podcasting. No,
Because
go ahead.
because as Black people, and don't get me wrong, I'm all for having skills and trades. I'm by trade, I'm an electrician. I could do anything dealing with power by trade. Um, but at the same time, we have been taught how to be slaves. That's all we know how to be. We were never taught how to be real royalty. We was never taught how to be real kings. We was never taught how to be leaders, mayors, governors, senators. We were never taught how to be people who make decisions. We was always taught to be people who take orders. And so now when they see that you're being somebody who makes the decisions and not taking the orders, guess what they tend to do? They tend to buck against that type of life. You know what I mean? They buck against that because self-consciously they know they were not equipped with what you have. They know that. They know that. They can see it. You know, people have been making paintings and getting painted from music for centuries. This is not Beethoven's been around for a long time. Leonardo DiCaprio, like people have been getting paid from non-physical manual labor since the beginning of time. They've always needed people to paint. They've always needed sculptors. They've always needed this stuff. So that's not a hard concept for people to grasp. That's a hard concept for people to grasp when you're Black. This is just the truth, or not even just Black, but a hard concept for you to grasp if you're impoverished in your mind. You lived in poverty, you've seen poverty. Everybody you knows work at the construction site or they do this, they build this with their hands. You're never taught to be the person that's paying somebody to build it.
Yeah.
Never taught that.
That's facts. And when he says slavery, a lot of us think like, oh, there's no slavery today. There's no handcuffs on you or me.
Oh
It's
no,
mental slavery.
it's still slavery here.
It's a mental slavery, y'all. It's a mental.
Hmm.
It's an
Absolutely.
entrapment of the mind. You can entrap some. The best meme I could think of is if y'all ever seen that meme where a horse that was broken in and the horse was trained that wherever this rope is attached, that's where I'm gonna stand and that's where I stay. So someone proved the point because they tied the rope to a plastic chair that was movable, and the horse stayed right there, even though the horse could easily move and gallop
Hmm.
and run off because it was broken in and it was trained to stand right here wherever this rope is. Wherever you tie this rope, that's where I'm gonna be. And when you come back, I'm gonna still be here. So the rope, the horse is enslaved to that rope, and we're enslaved the same way. It's a mental block. I can't
Yep.
do this. I can't do that. I can't go past what my dad did, or I can't go past what my mom did. So it's huge. It's really really huge. How has your military experience cultivated you? Because you said you were not where you wanted to be or where God had you, and then you joined the
Right.
military to get that foundation, to get that direction. How has that benefited you in your music and everything you do, all aspects of life?
I would say, I would say, um, me joining the military, me seeing different cultures, different environments, I saw one common thing. One common theme was everywhere I went was there were people at the bottom and then there was people at top. There were leaders and there was workers. And for me, I never really set right with being a follower, just a worker, just somebody who just, you know, did what everyone, did. Everybody worked at, whatever. Like I never sat well with that, even in the military. But I saw that there were people who didn't sit well with that. And guess what they were? They were at the top. And so now my shift is no longer just being a bottom feeder, no longer being somebody that talks about doing something, somebody who actually does something. That's my motivation. Even more so now that I'm older and able to really identify certain weaknesses in myself as a person, I realize, man, I like to talk about things way more than I like to do things. And so once the Navy got me in the military, period, just it really gets you in the mind of being a doer to me. Doing stuff, doing every day. If you do a little bit, just a little bit, it's enough to get you past that mile. So the Navy really helped me with that, getting that in my head. If I do a little bit, this little bit gonna equal up to a lot. So that's another way that the military gave me. But man, so many life lessons from relationships to seeing how in Turkey, I seen in Turkey, everybody, it's so crazy. It's thousands of people. I've never seen a whole bunch of people of one race get together and that be no arguing, no fighting. I've never seen that before. Seen it in Turkey, my mind is blown. I'm like, wait, so everybody just don't? Because I know you get 10 black people at a cookout. you, somebody's liable to get shot. This is the reality.
Yeah,
So it was
knuck if you buck.
it was mind blowing me seeing other cultures and even how the women treated their husbands. It was mind blowing to me because I'm like I've never seen respect out of that relationship between a man and woman before. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. I've never been a part of that before. Just where I grew up and how I grew up, never seen it. And so me seeing that even in other cultures really helped me like, man, they own to something. They own to something. It definitely helped me out a lot though.
For sure. One thing when so I'm a veteran as well. One of the things I have a friend. He only dates Japanese women. He's only ever been with Japanese women. He loves Japanese women. and he's African American. He's from the continent, so he's not U.S. American. He's African. He only dates Japanese women. And I asked him one day. I said, "Why do you not date other women besides Japanese women?" And so he said, "Marcus, I'm gonna show you." So he was courting this Japanese woman. We were in Guam. We were overseas, and he's like, "Marcus, I haven't talked to this girl in 4 hours. Watch this." The girl pulls up to the house with flowers, and she's like super. He opens the door, lets her in, and he's super apologetic. She's like apologizing. She don't even. And I asked. I said, "What the hell did you do?" She's like, "Nothing." She thinks I'm mad, but I'm not really mad. But she's just like, "Oh my God, what do you need? What can I do?" And she's cooking him dinner, rubbing his feet, drawing his bath, and I'm like, "What the hell is going on?" And he
Wait a
said
minute.
that's why he's only dates Japanese women. And so
Wait
it
a
completely
minute.
blew my mind because he's not mad at anything. He just didn't talk to her. And she's like apologizing with these roses, this bouquet of roses to get back in his good graces. And I'm like, what?
We also, but we also have to look at. I got. It's just see you smiling because you know I'm coming. You have to look at what type of women the particular person is choosing.
Mm.
You have to look at that because not all of us are like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like say for example, my fiance, I'm a different type. I come from a 2-parent household where I did see that respect between my mother and father. I never seen my father, like in front of us anyway, disrespect her or treat her any kind of way. And also, she did as much as she could. My mother worked because she wanted to. Now, my dad, he was an entrepreneur. At one point, he was in the military. He's a veteran, and he started out there. He got his own business, started doing that, being out on the road, over the roads, things like that. He got into owning his own stuff like that. And my mom, she worked because she wanted to, because that's one thing my mom taught me. Always make sure you have your own money, just in case somebody decides to walk away. But always make sure you have your own money to be. Don't do that to be set, just in case. But I've always learned, for a person that you love, you come to a relationship with a different mindset. I didn't come to the relationship saying, "What can he do for me?" I came saying, "What can I do for him to make his life easier?" Of course, you have your disagreements and things like that, but it's you have to work through it. You have to work through it. And I'm not talking about yelling through it. I'm not talking about fighting through it, because I'm not putting all that energy in. I'll put energy in for us to get through it safely and respectfully, but I'm not doing all that extra stuff. That's why I was saying, Marcus, what kind of women was he choosing? Because if that's if he was getting the negative type of energy consistently, maybe it's something in him that keep on choosing the same type of women.
So you're saying he has something about him why black women don't gravitate to him? So he's choosing Japanese
Right.
women?
Like he figures that, okay, these type of women work for me, because he's choosing a certain type that he's going towards with each race.
Oh,
Like
I know what you're about to say.
he may gravitate towards a certain type of African or African American woman that he's attracted to, but that may not be his type. That may not be his type, but that's what he's attracted to. So he keeps on picking these type of women when there's other different ones, but he keeps on gravitating towards that type. So he writes the whole race off, saying that you guys are all the same, when that's not the case.
And I 1000% agree with you. I feel like, not that what I feel like, what I know is, whatever type of man you are, that's what type of woman you're gonna get. And so I would never isolate myself as saying, okay, I can only talk to this type of woman. No, if I'm a man,
wait, can you say that one? Can you say that? We gotta stop the bus on that one. Can you say that one more time for the people in the back row who didn't hear that?
Whatever type of man you are, that's what type of woman you're gonna attract. Period. If you're not a man of order, you're not a real leader, you're not a real man, you're not going to get a real woman. And what a real woman would put up with is a lot different than what one of these hot girls will put up with. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
say
It's
it
a
again for the
different
people today.
it's a different energy. Like and even if you deal with a woman that's a hot girl, guess what? If you're a real man, guess what's gonna happen to her? Because she has to
Mm-hmm.
conform. Everything about a woman is conform to a man. From your body to everything a woman has conforms to that man. So if that man is not conforming that woman to what he needs her to be for his family to be successful, then that's on him. That's not on that woman.
Mm-hmm.
That woman has a right to run him, control him, and scare him off from talking to all black women because let's be honest, black women, no matter what, and I've seen a lot of different women, there's no woman on the planet that has the power a black woman have. Period. Black women are the number one resources in the world. The whole world markets towards black women because the buying power, the resilience, the everything of a black woman is going to be superseding any other woman. Period. That's why they're the face of beauty. They're the face of what a woman's supposed to be, even when they're stupid. Even when they act stupid, they're the face of stupid. That's just the power of a black woman. Period. Period. So I never say, okay, well, if I could talk to a Japanese woman, I could talk to a Arabian woman or somebody from
Right.
Dubai. Or I could talk to a black woman. I could talk to a white woman. There's no woman I can't talk to because guess what? Our purpose is what's going to be the purpose. Period. The mission don't change.
Mm-hmm. Very true. And that goes the same for the ladies out there, for whoever's watching. And I mean that wholeheartedly. I talk to both sides. I don't talk to one. I love my women. I'm a feminist too, but I know right is right and wrong is wrong. And some of the females out here be talking about some, y'all black men the same. No, it's the ones you keep on choosing, sis. It's the ones you keep on choosing. The ones that you keep on being attracted to and you keep on putting on and giving your energy to, it's something in you that keeps on choosing those same toxic. No, I'm about to say something now. Those same toxic dudes. That's you.
All right.
Because I have never said that all black men. You may run across a few whatsoever, but me myself, like I said, I was telling Marcus this a while back. We was having conversations about that with my dating history. Like before my fiance, I dated different races. That's because I wanted to, but my dad was a veteran too, so you can imagine what type of families and cultures I was
Right.
introduced to. So I wasn't closed-minded, but also I was the type of woman that wasn't going to. I presented myself a certain way. I was the type of woman who gave a respect to, respect a certain way that people could see like this is not this is not that same type of female. So they can't approach me any kind of way. They can't come to me. They can't talk to me any kind of way. I'm not one of the hood rats at the corner. You're not about to do that with me. So I'm a little different. I'm a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of things that I would not accept. But I give respect. You got to get respect to get it. That's just
Yep.
the way I am. And I made sure if I'm choosing quality because I am quality.
You see why she's my co-host, y'all? Touching on relationships, I want to stay here on this. Mr. Yates, you are a man on a mission. You're doing big things. You got family legacy. You're building wealth. You're killing it in the music industry. I want to touch on relationships. How has that impacted your relationship? Because you are doing something that in this day and age, not necessarily in this conversation or in this room, but it's new and it's taboo. You have
Right.
3 wives. Sir, how did you come into that lifestyle? And how has that shaped you as a man, as a father that's building kingdom, building legacy? How has that really spoken to you? But first, I want to clear it up. I want to put the definition out there. You are a polygamist?
Yeah, that's the definition of what they would call it. For
Perfect.
me,
I want to put that on the
right,
screen just so people who
right,
don't know, and I'm gonna
right,
read it
right.
off. Polygamy, the practice or custom of having more than one wife or husband at the same time? So go ahead, answer the question. I'm sorry.
For me, it came to where I realized something about myself. I realized, number one, I'm a liar. That's when I realized I was a liar. I realized there was something wrong with me. I can't stop entertaining women. I can't stop, it has to be something I could do to really, it has to be something out there. I can't be wrong for how I'm feeling. So I'm like this as a kid, like young, 19, 20, 21, The older I got, I started to realize something. I realized, what if I started telling the truth of who I really am and what God put in me? Because I got to say God put it in me, because whether or not people want to be honest, God created the whole earth. He created good. He created bad. He created whatever somebody wants to see, right? He created everything we see. Everything is created by God. For me, I realized, what, maybe God put this in me the same way he put it in a lot of the people in the Bible. I'm like, so now I'm starting to really question certain things, because I was in a monogamous relationship. I never was monogamous. I was married. I was never with one person. I didn't know how to be. I didn't know how to control the one relationship. I didn't know how to do all this different stuff. So what God brought me to is just be honest. Stop lying. So now God changed my life from being out in the streets, being in the clubs, and dealing with all these different type of women. My mind changed. I stopped drinking. I stopped doing certain stuff. I started caring about myself. God presented who I got with first. And it changed me, because this was the first time I finally realized I could be with one woman. First time I could be honest with one woman. Was her. She changed me. Being with her changed me, because not only was I accustomed to lying, I was accustomed to dealing with liars. I was accustomed to dealing with these women that wanted the same thing. They wanted me to lie. They wanted me to tell them, hey, don't let me know whatever else you're doing. Wow. This is what women would tell me. So now, guess what I'm thinking subconsciously in my mind? I'm thinking in my mind, I can't be honest, because if I'm honest, it'll never, no one will ever accept my honesty. Until I met my first wife. Me and her was together. Nothing wrong with the relationship. Perfect relationship. I never even considered another one. One day, I seen somebody on YouTube talking about it. And they was talking about it in the Bible. And I was like, there's no way. No way this is in the Bible. No way Moses. No way Abraham. No way David. No way. No way. Started doing my research. Started doing my research on the culture in general. Started doing my research on every country right now where there's polygamous relationships right now. They generate the most wealth. In certain countries in Africa right now, you know how much money Nigeria is generating? People don't talk about this. People don't talk about how that these other countries are going into certain unique countries that have booming economics to get their resources. And guess what I realized about a lot of those places? They have a stronger family unit than what we have here.
Being in a monogamous relationship.
Being in a polygamous relationship. Because guess what? Now you have a team of people who are all invested in themselves on being successful. It's a team interest. So now fast forward, even with my situation, I was with my first wife. Boom. I told her about, hey, look, man, this is where I'm at right now. And if you can't accept it, I understand. I don't want to put no pressure on you that you can't accept. I understand, but I got to be real. I'm trying to move forward as a man. I'm not trying to live a lie, because if I'm going to live a lie, guess what I'm going to force you to do? I'm going to force you to live a lie. So I would rather present you with the truth so you can know how to deal with me. So whether you could choose to say, hey, look, I don't want to mess with it or no. And I said, listen, this is just the truth, but I'm not gonna find no woman to be in this situation with me. It's just what I believe. I'm not thinking I'm gonna find somebody. This is just, but I'm just preparing my mind for just me dealing with my truth. That's it. I never thought I was gonna be in this situation. And then lo and behold, I met somebody else. First day, hey, look, do you have a boyfriend? She said, no. She said, do you have a girlfriend? I said, yeah, I'm married. She says, okay, well, like, what you talking to me for? I'm like, well, this is what I believe in, and this is where I'm at. This is what we doing. This is where. And then we started talking. She started talking to my wife. Everybody started communicating with each other, and we built a relationship that way. And then boom, now me and her end up getting together because now she's a part of my family now. Same thing even with my third wife. My third wife built a relationship with the first wife. Same way. You know what I mean? Like it was a relationship that was built, and guess what? Everybody said, hey, look, yes, we're with this one man, but we're all working together to get this big goal. I would not be able to do what I'm able to do with the music. I wouldn't be able to do what I would do anything without a team of women around me, because they're my motivation. They're the ones that when I'm tired or when I don't want to keep going, I look at them and look at the sacrifice they're making just to be with me and to be in this situation. That's what's the driving force behind creating generational wealth and creating a place for our kids and creating a happy home and creating all this stuff. That's the motivation for me. And so literally I would love to tell somebody, I had a crazy way of talking to them, and no, it literally just ran into me, and all I was available. And from this, yeah, and honest, and just honest with myself that, hey, if I'm going to do it, let me be honest and let me do it with a purpose. So I'm not just sleeping with women. No, any woman that I'm going to be with, you got to understand that this is the mission. This is what we're doing. How do we add to what we're doing? How do I add to you? How do you add to me? How does it make sense? If it don't make sense, then it don't make sense. But if it makes sense, hey, look, let's build something great. Let's build something we never saw before. And there's 3 women out here. So when somebody says, oh, there's no women that'll do that. Well, I got 3 women out here that is, I do, regardless of what anybody said, I know what I got.
Yeah.
But yeah, the military taught me a lot too. But even with that perspective, because I saw in certain Islamic countries that they have polygamous relationships. I'm doing research. I'm telling you, I'm really diving in because I'm trying to see, why do I feel like something's wrong based on somebody else's opinion, when there's other people actually doing it successfully
and winning.
Yeah. And winning and over winning. Because look at our situations and our relationships today. Most people are in monogamous relationships, aren't in monogamous relationships. Who are we kidding?
Can you share a win? Can you share one thing? You touched on it earlier. You would not be able to push and excel in music without your wives. Can you give us another one, another perk or another benefit that you have seen that most people can't get in a monogamous relationship? What's another win that you've experienced doing what you do?
Big win. A big win is financially. Financially, one person can't make as much as 2 persons. 3 people, let's throw 4 people now. Who you think will be able to have more resources? 4 people with their own environments, their own skills, their own things that make them special, or 2 people? It's just, it's math. You know what I mean? Like I 1 + 1, 2 + 3, like it's math. That's just one aspect. Another aspect is what people don't take in mind. you're actually learning how to deal with different personalities.
I was about to say because I struggle.
Psy-
Yeah.
psycho,
One
but
woman.
psychologically, you got to think how much stronger you are now.
Mm,
How much more purpose driven your life is, because I'm not just being with these women because I like being with multiple women. No, there was a purpose. So now I'm more mission based now. It helps with my psyche, because guess what? When you're in a relationship and you get complacent with that relationship, what happens? You get in that monotony of every day. You go to work, hey babe, hi babe, love you, bye, boop. Now you're not even in a relationship no more. Y'all just talk to each other from a distance.
fall off.
So
Now,
what are some? Oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
but
No,
versus
I was just
now,
saying he
when I
fall
deal
off.
with when I deal with each other, when I deal with these women individually, we have more quality time. We have more quality time with each other now. Less busy little bitty time. No, we have more meaningful time with each other now. That helps keep everybody's mind focused. You know what I mean? But yeah, what you was about to say?
So what are some misconceptions of your lifestyle that you hear or that you think people may think about your lifestyles? You just throw some out there.
We are not all in a relationship like together. All three of those women are not in no relationship with each other. We don't, there's not no orgies, there's not no sex party, it's not no none of that. Like, we are, each woman is in a relationship with me. Period. We just work together. They work together. They have a camaraderie with each other because they all have the same interest, and that's to see us win. So one common misconception is this is just some sex escapade, or this is just something you could do. It's just fun. No. It's not fun when you got to deal with damaged people and getting damaged people to work together on one road. Yeah, it's not fun. It's not. No, we got to deal with real life trauma that's been invested in these people for 30 years, 20 years, however long. We got to deal with this. I got to deal with this trauma. I got to get this trauma right. And so when people think that, oh, it's just fun, no, it's work. And that's why every man can't be a leader. That's why every man ain't a leader, because they don't know how to operate in certain situations. That's a common misconception. And then another one that I really hate is when they say that the women that are in that situation are weak. These are the strongest women I've ever. You couldn't have a more stronger mentally woman that's willing to say, hey, I know you're gonna be with another woman in my face. I still want to be with you and still want to keep moving forward. You know what type of you as a woman, you know for a fact, if you saw another woman be with your man in front of your face, how you initially would feel. You be like, oh,
Oh,
your whole day
of
stops.
course.
Your whole day
The
stops.
whole day doesn't stop. But after my money, I'm going to revisit this matter.
You're gonna revisit. You're not just letting this go though. You're not gonna just let
Yeah,
But
please. That's definitely a business email created in my mind. Please be advised, I will be back later after this money's made. Please hold.
right. So now, could you imagine if you got to that point to where you're so mentally strong and so mission focused that you understanding the purpose behind this? And now, guess what? Now it takes less pressure off you. Because guess what? When you need a break from dealing with the kids, guess who your break is?
Partner.
Guess
The
when
partner.
guess when you say, hey, look, I don't want to work at this job no more, babe. Well, guess who's gonna pick up the slack so you ain't gotta work at that job no more? You know what I mean? Guess what's gonna keep this mission moving forward? And that's why I'm saying that the mental of the women is what makes this go on. Not just me, not just the man. The mental of the women is what helps this go on. And these are crazy strong mentally women.
If one woman could get tired of working, she can say, "Hey, I'll stay home and watch the kids." So now you got a built-in date babysitter. Now the babysitter is taking care of the kids. Y'all ain't got to pay that expense to send the child to daycare. I think someone told me daycare is like up 200, 300 a week. You got to pay to some of these daycare facilities. Well, what if you had a wife that said, "Hey, I'll stay home. I'm tired. I'm burnt out right now."
And could
You know,
afford to.
Yeah, and can afford to. Yeah, and all the
I
needs
mean,
of the household still be met.
in today's society, people are not realizing that, hey, these two-parent homes, everybody has to work.
Yeah,
The way this family structure, this dynamic family structure, the way that they're giving us, everybody has to work. Everybody has to put in their time. Everybody has to. So now guess who's getting neglected now? The kids. Kids got to go off to some daycare lady that's looking at that daycare as a job. She's not looking at that child as her child. She's looking at that daycare as a child. Now we're looking at let's do homework into all of the molestation that happens in the daycares. Let's do homework on all of the abuse that happens to these kids in these daycares. Let's do our homework on that. And then now let's do our homework on the financial strain the daycare has put on our families. So now we got to work harder. Now we're spending less time at home around our kids. I'm able to spend more time at home at my kids because guess what my wife say? Hey, babe, we would rather work. You do we want to support you doing your dream. So you could be more time with the kids and more time around to help her around the house and more time to do music, more time to write books, more time to do stuff. They retired me. I got retired. You know what I mean?
Are they Japanese? Are they Japanese women?
No, all three black. All three black women. All three.
Sorry.
And you know what? What's funny is we was raised up thinking that black women is incapable of working with other black women unless it's to denigrate or degrade other black people. Period. Because the only time, look at Glorilla, look at all these rappers, female rappers. Only time you see a black women come together is to do nonsense and foolery. Period. That's the only time we see black people to come together is on bull crap. Look at the Montgomery Brawl. People are celebrating black people fighting. Why nobody celebrating these same black people fighting, building up a business, buying land together? Why nobody celebrating that? Why that's not to the forefront? You know, but that's how I feel about when black people look at other black people, seeing them work together. It's so foreign to them. It's no way that this can happen. How do you see? Come on, man.
The judge, the God, his side name, his hustler name is the God, y'all. The God has spoken, y'all. That. Carmia, can you confirm that? Is that true? Is it hard to work with other black women? Right? Can you stamp that or because I've never been a black woman. I don't know.
So just like with us dating, and just like with the men dating, and it's the same. It's all who you. It's all who you work. Just like you being picky out there when you're dating situation, even being friends, finding people to work with, you got to be picky like this too. I'm very careful who I move forward with. African American women, yes, definitely very careful. I'm very careful with everyone across the board because I look at everybody the same. But I'm looking at a lot of things when it comes to my race. Because already some of us have already came, just like you're saying, they already came from not seeing it. They don't understand it. They just here to kill, destroy, and I'm trying to see what can I do to get whatever she has and tear her down and move on. So I'm very careful about that, and it does happen. But I'm very picky of who I have in my corner, friends. I'm very picky of who, if I'm going to work with you business wise, especially females. So you are correct, but the same standard I held when I was dating, I hold that to business as well. I'm very careful on how I move and who I move with.
Right. I mean, and I think that that's important. And most people, we have to go through traumas with these people, even in our families. Like, you know, most people, I don't deal with a lot of people in my family, but I realize that if I don't, or when I stopped dealing with people in my family, I was able to move forward. Because who you surround yourself around, even with family, friends, and all this stuff, it does affect you. It affects you mentally. It affects you spiritually. I was at my worst physically when I was around certain people. You know what I mean? Like, it's just we don't really take into consideration that type of damage just being associated with the people that we associate with. So I definitely agree that it's not all people. It's not all people that that have an issue with working together. It's just specifically we know what we went through as Black people. We know the Willie Lynch. We know all of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and realistically, we know that anytime, even me myself, I have to catch myself when I started saying, I don't even want to deal with no Black person because I know how bad we're damaged up here. I know that if somebody's gonna kill me, 9 times out of 10 is gonna be a Black person. I know that
completely.
I know it's
that
ridiculous.
mindset of thinking like, because I didn't come from that type. Like I said, I come from a different environment. But as you get older, you see certain things, and you try not to let those things, how do you say, cloud your judgment. You try not to, because you don't want to judge everybody that way. So it's like, okay, like say for example, I attended the HBCU. I'm not gonna say that HBCU because they will not get credit today. But I got there, it was a culture shock because I wasn't used to so many of my people together. But also realizing a lot of people had that mindset of, I don't want to deal with Black people. And I'm like, you're at the HBCU right with me. I'm confused.
Right.
I'm highly confused. How does that work?
You're in the wrong place.
But
right.
You're in the wrong place. So you're having to deal with people who are coming out into the real world because college, they're leaving their parents' home. There's some people from all across the country, but there's so many people in the same place that has the same mindset. I gotta deal with this Black girl over here. I really don't like Black people. They be like, I don't like Black people, but that's who we are. You have to understand. I think there's a lot of growth. It's a lot of growth that have to happen. It's a lot of change and updates that have to happen mentally between each other to figure out how we can get past this. Because until then, it's going to be a continuous cycle. It's going to be a continuous cycle. Because even for myself in the field that I'm in, Caddy. Get just. She's walking today. So she's walking the day before me. Like it could be, but if you get to the right people, and that's why I said I'm picky on who I work with. I gotta hear them talk without me actually saying anything, and I can feel out where they're going. I gotta see how they move business wise, and I gotta see how you move personally, because that's gonna prove a lot of things that I could never. I don't even have to ask. I don't have to ask. But I had to stop myself a few times, like you said, from saying, "Oh, I'm not working with Black people like this," because you're never on time. You act like everybody is on your time, and we don't have stuff to do, or you don't have your stuff together. And then I got to remember, okay, I am of that race. I make mistakes and stuff too. I come from a different background. I'm just gonna have to move carefully and pick. It's people out here. It's people out here who are mature in that level. You just gotta be patient and do the work to find them. Not everybody's the same, so I can't just ostracize and kick everybody to the curb because it's hard. It can get difficult. That's me personally.
Very hard.
I read a magazine article. Not a magazine article. It was like a clip, and I forget the celebrity. For those of you that don't know, Miss Camille Wells, Camille Wells is a model, right? And so I read recently in a catalog that this celebrity was offended because this person, where they were standing in the picture, they didn't like that. And because they made more money, they're the bigger celebrity, you need to put me on the front, not her. And I was just taken back because it's like we all trying to win here. Like, what's the problem? Who cares is who's standing in front, who's standing to the left, who's standing to the right. And she held up production because of it. It's like, if I don't stand in the front, I'm not doing this. And her agent is trying to calm her down, and she's like, so powerful.
It's the egotistical behavior, and that happens a lot, especially when. And I also this is something that you guys may not understand either, or if you have daughters, you may be going through that. But I also believe validation at home in the beginning, that's a foundational part, because if your kid is not being validated, they're going to find ways to get that validation later on down the line. And when they do get it, it's going to be the case of, I need to make everybody see me. I need to make sure people are validating me, telling me I'm the cutest, I'm the prettiest, I'm the baddest bit. You know that's the culture now. They want somebody to amp them up. You wouldn't need
Yep.
that if you was already validated.
Yep. And that's the
It's a
home
it's a it's
training.
an ego thing.
But that's something that at home for us we don't get. Our parents
Mm,
aren't even around enough for the most part to validate us. Let's be honest. You work in that job 40 hours a week. We just got to be real on certain things in our community. And people talk about content creators, but content creators,
mm,
at least they're building something.
mm.
We're spending 20 years working on, this such and such job can't help your family out when you neglected them for 20 years.
Mm.
That can't get that validation for your daughter when she needs her father to come and do the
Right.
daddy daughter dance or whatever. So she feels like, hey, a man can love me. Some of these women never feel that love. Some of these women never feel that love. So they get used to not feeling that type of love and that
Mm.
type of stability in a man. And so now people
Very
would
true.
talk about the women that be with me. Well, hey, look, my situation is these women want to be with me. They want
So
to
how
be with me.
but how do you balance three of them? Are you on a schedule? Like, all right, you got Monday and Tuesday. You got Wednesday and Thursday. Like, how do you balance the time? Because that's three black women. That's it. You
um,
brother.
well, for right now, currently, we the two, I have two women that we've been living together for the last 3 years. So
Mm.
that that situation, we live together. My third wife, she's like we're in the works of actually building a home. So that's that's happening. We're all gonna be living together. But we've all this is what it is. Like you get my time. Everybody gets my time. The purpose gets my time. And everybody's working to the purpose. So it doesn't even feel like and I'm sure they themselves might go through certain emotions because once again, we're talking about women. We're talking about dealing with women. So there's going to be certain things. There's going to be certain times where this person might even demand or require certain time from me, and I see, hey, look, I need to give her more time, or hey, you know what? Let me go ahead. Like it's on me to be able to be a coach in that situation and see and organize. Hey, this is how this is. Let me do this. Let me throw a little bit over here in this. I could put more load on her right here. I can't put a lot of load on this. Like this is it's all about knowing, your manpower, knowing who is on your team. You know what I mean? Like I'm saying a coach, like basketball. Like you don't have somebody shooting the game winning free throws who can't shoot free throws. You know what I mean?
Throwing on the
Like
bench. Let me put
you
her on the
gotta
bench right now.
you gotta know what the situation calls for. So now everybody is getting their time because everybody's gonna be up to bat. Everybody's up to bat for my
Mm.
time. Everybody's up to bat. I'm giving everybody their time. And you want me to tell you something? Because of the relationship they have, even when I don't give somebody the time, guess who's gonna be calling them? Hey girl, how you doing? What's up? What's up?
Mm.
Like, because now it's a relationship. It's they built a relationship. They built a friendship. They built the line of communication. So hey, you're not alone. You see now it's less of me trying to kill myself, even with the giving every, because I got to be me.
Yeah.
I just
Mhm.
provided resources for you to have real friends and real people to talk to.
Powerful. 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 Mr. Yates, sir, this has been an epic episode, sir. I am completely blown away. Um, I'm gonna call my friend and tell him, hey, you need to get 3 Japanese women to get. No, I'm just kidding. But thank you all, Mr. Yates. How can we connect to my audience? How can our audience connect with you? Find your music, find what you're doing.
You can go at me on Instagram, on at ISO the God ISO DAGOD King KING ISO the God King, all one word. And highroadrecords.com, that's my actual record label website. Where highroadrecordsmusic.com, that's my actual record label website. Contact information, people want to book shows or anything like that, all the contact information is on the website. I got, links in the bio. You can DM me on Instagram. My Facebook is Adir Yates. Anywhere you can type in High Road Records on Google, is gonna pop up. And this is what I built from the ground up. And yeah.
Super dope. Any nuggets? You've shared nuggets and tips and mindsets and strategies this whole episode. Any tips to that young boy, that young girl trying to get in the music business, in the music industry? What advice would you share with them?
Be true to yourself, even if it makes other people uncomfortable.
I
Two words.
I felt that. I'm attacked, yo.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yep, that's what I would tell you.
Powerful. Love it. Well, y'all, we have to let Mr. Yates go. This man has a community to continue to build, a legacy to build, a family to love on and take care of, and to share in a music industry to take over. He's taking over the game. Love it. Thank you all. Ms. Wells, you got any final words for us? Any encouragement for us?
Yeah, keep on moving. We've already gotten so far to 2023. We need to make it to the end and going forward. I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Stay positive no matter what happens, because we all going through stuff.
Absolutely.
Facts.
Oh, can I say one more thing? Just one more.
Absolutely can. You absolutely can.
Y'all could go stream my project, Sign Language. It's wherever you stream music from, Apple Music, Tidal, Spotify, wherever you do it at. YouTube is everywhere. So definitely go stream that, Sign Language. And I have a book. So if you follow me on Instagram or whatever, and I got to come back here to let you see my book. My book is going to be a phenomenal book. I promise you it's going to be phenomenal. And I would definitely love to come back to promote this book and give y'all sneak peeks of what I got going on. I promise you it's going to be amazing.
Love it. Woo! Love it. Love that. Thank y'all. I can't even come behind that. I'm going to just say my normal spiel, y'all. These two gave some incredible nuggets. I'm going to say my piece. Do it. No matter what it is. Do it. Whatever it is.
Who's like Nike? Just do it.
Just do it. Like
Thanks.
I always end every show, take care of your friends. Take care of your family. Always take care of business. This is Marcus, your favorite gentleman, the beautiful, incredible Cara Wells, and Mr. Adir Yates. highroadrecordsmusic.com. highroadsrecordmusic.com for my audio listeners. Check him out. And if you can't find anything else, reach out to me and Miss Cara, and we will get you to him. Love you guys. Take care.
All right. Appreciate it.